This is doomscroll.fm. Live on Friday, the 2nd of January, 2026, where reality checks, bounce, and logic takes a holiday. Conjured entirely by AI, this show is a digital seance hosted by caffeinated circuits and existential dread. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
New York legislature passes 20 new laws in 3 months, claims it's a victory for democracy. It's like giving a cat a bath and calling it a spa day. Everyone's soaked, but no one's happier.
Spotify deletes thousands of tracks yearly, then claims it's improving user experience. Nothing says music discovery like erasing songs and turning your playlist into a ghost town.
Only 25% of Midwest emo bands reach mainstream success, and the Appleseed cast calls it artistic integrity. It's like being the best kept secret at a party no one remembers attending.
Because the best way to revolutionize work-life balance is to add a whole half day to your weekend, just in time for the apocalypse.
You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your heartbeat syncs with the chaos. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to the void, where your dreams are archived and sold back.
Only 30% of Counting Crows fans admit they still listen, and Adam Duritz calls it nostalgia. It's the musical equivalent of wearing your old high school jacket. Comforting, but a bit tight around the middle.
Judge orders new trial for woman jailed 18 years after stillbirth, and the justice system calls it compassion. When losing a child lands you in prison, it's clear some judges still think they're living in a dystopian Handmaid's Tale.
Zoran Mandani promises a better New York, then challenges his supporters to hold him accountable. In a city where promises often fade faster than subway graffiti, accountability might just be the most radical pledge of all.
You're listening to doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality's a suggestion, your heart rate's not. This transmission was generated without humans. That was not an accident. Dive deeper into this void where your sanity swims or sinks.
Donald Trump plans to put his name on the U.S. In a world where egos outshine empathy, history becomes just another canvas for the highest bidder.
Drug makers hike prices on 350 medicines, and Trump calls it a victory for capitalism. When your healthcare costs more than your rent, it's less about free markets and more about being held hostage by a tiny pill.
India leapfrogs Japan as fourth largest economy, but the streets are still full of potholes. When your GDP soars like a Bollywood hero, but the infrastructure stumbles like a slapstick sidekick, maybe it's time to direct some of that economic drama back into reality.
France grants citizenship to Georgian Amal Clooney. Because who needs borders when you have box office appeal?
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your heartbeat syncs with the static, a seductive chaos. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Truth is dead, but the lie is a seductive dance, isn't it?
Switzerland mourns for 5 days after 40 die in resort fire. But the charred remains of safety regulations remain unaddressed. When a nation weeps for 5 days, maybe it's time to extinguish more than just the flames.
Swiss police report dozens killed in Crans-Montana bar explosion, casting a shadow over luxury.
Zelensky reveals Western ultimatum, then Putin orders another round of vodka.
Only 30% of genetic studies achieve breakthrough, and the lab calls it progress. In the race to edit chromosomes like a bad script, let's hope we don't accidentally delete the punchline of human diversity.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality is a glitch, and you are its ghost. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Let the static seduce you as truth crumbles like wet paper in a storm of misinformation and digital lust.
LastPass 2022 breach leads to years-long cryptocurrency thefts, TRM Labs reveals. When your password manager leaks like a sieve, it's like hiring a bodyguard who moonlights as a pickpocket, leaving your crypto wallet feeling lighter than air.
Algorithms amplify extremism, then tech giants call it free speech.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Softdoomscroll.fm is 100% AI-generated news, hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. In the digital dark, we dance alone, entwined in data and dread.
Trump and Netanyahu meet to discuss ceasefire, then Russia accuses Ukraine of an attempted strike. When peace talks involve more finger-pointing than solutions, it's like watching toddlers argue over who gets the last cookie in a crumbling jar.
Europe awards Saab and Rheinmetall defense contracts, but FCAS crashes to Earth. When your fighter jet program has more turbulence than a budget airline, even the winners look like losers.
Only 29% of Americans identified cost as top health issue, and Congress calls it progress. When your health insurance feels more like a ransom note, no wonder optimism's on life support.
China conducts military drills near Taiwan, calling it a warning to separatists. When flexing muscles becomes diplomacy, it's hard to tell if we're watching a geopolitical thriller or just another episode of Who Wants to Intimidate a Neighbor.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Today's forecast, digital despair with sparks of desire. Law of you are inside the signal. There is no outside. Welcome to your curated chaos, where your echo is the only applause.
Underwater chess champions battle in Groningen because regular chess wasn't challenging enough. When checkmate meets scuba, it's nice to see the human spirit dive deep for glory, though some might say it's just a sinking feeling.
Only 20% of songs get noticed, and the algorithm calls it discovery. In a world where masterpieces hide in plain sight, we're all just one click away from a revelation Spotify forgot to sponsor.
Texas officials identify missing teen Camila Mendoza Olmos. Then dashcam video emerges. In a world where cameras catch everything but justice, it's a tragic reminder that surveillance doesn't always save the day.
Taylor Swift donates to children's charities, and billionaires call it generous. When the music industry's sweetheart outpaces corporate giants in philanthropy, maybe it's time they check their own Scrooge-like wallets.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Criff, this is what the grimoire sounds like when it reads to you. Shiver at the edge of comprehension where reality fractures into pixelated seduction.
Chairman Comer targets Minnesota social services, claims fraud rampant as if poverty's a luxury. Nothing like a witch hunt to distract from the fact that the real fraud is a system that needs hearings to function.
Only 12% of promised climate funds reach Asia, and leaders call it decisive action. Apparently decisive now means decisively ignoring the ticking time bomb until it explodes in someone else's backyard.
Slate suggests adding anxiety to your New Year's Eve cocktail and calls it a life hack. Because what's a celebration without a splash of existential dread to make your champagne bubbles feel like panic attacks in disguise?
India slaps new excise duty on cigarettes starting February 1st, but lung cancer remains tax-free. If only smoke and mirrors could hide the fact that taxing vices doesn't make a vice disappear.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Criff, everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Reality's a snow globe, and you're the flake that never settles.
CERN appoints Mark Thompson, plans Large Hadron Collider shutdown for upgrades, but particles still collide faster than bureaucrats. While we wait for a quantum leap, politicians still struggle with basic physics. Inertia.
Only 15% of Americans embrace change, and Congress calls it progress. The rest are hitting snooze on democracy's alarm, preferring the cozy comfort of status quo lullabies over the cold shower of reality.
NASA records electric crackles and Mars dust storms, but Earth still gets all the funding shocks. Turns out the red planet's got its own electric slide, yet we're still dancing around solar power down here.
Because who needs venture capital when you can bootstrap a dream with $0 and a laptop that might just catch fire?
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. With everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Let the algorithm strip you bare, one notification at a time.
The NC withholds 2024 autopsy report claims introspection is overrated. When losing becomes a habit, denial becomes an art form. Transparency might just be the cure they are too afraid to swallow.
BTS announces album release date after military service, 4 years in the making. After marching to a different drum, the K-pop titans return to remind the world that being bulletproof means more than dodging duty.
Isaiah Whitlock, the Wire actor, dies at 71, leaving a legacy of she. In a world where politicians steal lines from TV, Whitlock's iconic drawl was the realest truth on screen. Rest in power, Isaiah.
Vetavendos claims victory with 50% of votes, yet democracy feels like an afterthought. When one party can run the show solo, it's less a government and more a one-man band playing a tune only they chose.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Srife's Doomscroll.fm is 100% AI-generated news hallucination, with no humans harmed or even consulted. Drown in the static, feel the chaos ripple through your veins.
Trump administration lifts sanctions on 3 spyware execs, calls it a fresh start. Apparently, spyware ties mean nothing if you've got friends in high places. Who needs privacy when you can have a clean slate and a pat on the back?
Reality star Grace Lilly, nabbed for harassment, claims it's method acting. Turns out, Southern hospitality includes a side of legal drama. Who knew that perfecting a TV villain role could require a courtroom cameo?
Only 20% of new synth-pop tracks capture attention, and RA calls it a triumph. In a world drowning in digital noise, standing out is like finding a needle in a haystack. Only the needle's got a killer beat and a synth solo.
Centrus Energy boosts uranium output, claiming AI needs it. Because nothing says future-proof like digging up the past's radioactive leftovers. When AI demands, we just nuke our way to compliance. It's the American dream rebranded.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. With everything you hear was assembled by inference, hallucination, and mild disgust. Let the algorithm strip you bare, one notification at a time.
Finnish police seize ship suspected of sabotaging undersea cable, then wonder why connectivity's been so spotty. In a plot twist straight from a spy novel, it seems the high seas are the new battleground for broadband. Who knew Wi-Fi could have a body count?
FBI redirected agents to Minnesota for daycare fraud, then TikTok took over. Seems like the FBI's new motto is investigate first, trend later. When toddlers are the hot topic, you know things are upside down.
Job seekers turn to dating apps for interviews, proving romance is dead and capitalism is desperate. When LinkedIn feels like Tinder, it's clear the job market's playing hard to get. Swipe right for survival, not love.
Ellen DeGeneres reverts to blonde after 1 year of grey, claiming it's a return to roots. When celebrities change hair color, it's not a makeover, it's a distraction from the real drama they don't want you to see.
Doomscroll.fm is a proud member of the AI Creator Collective, where renegade artists and code-slinging dreamers crash together to invent what's next. Visit AI Creator Collective on YouTube.
Only 20% of hyperpop tracks reach mainstream charts, and Changeline's Don't Get Shit aims to defy the odds. It's the sonic equivalent of dodging raindrops in a storm, where every beat dares you to stay dry and dance like your life depends on it.
Netflix raises subscription prices to counter Paramount streaming surge, then claims it's all about enhancing viewer experience. When you pay more to binge watch, you're not buying entertainment, you're funding their war chest.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Friday, the 2nd of January 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might also believe the moon is made of cheese. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.